The Arizona Diamondbacks missed the playoffs for the second straight season, meaning the pressure is on for this team to make changes. Will this team be able to revitalize their pitching staff to match the offense, or will the front office allow this team to fall short once again? Hello, my name is Avery Taylor, and welcome to Rebuild October, a series where we rebuild a new team every day across the month of October. So, whether you're looking for your favorite team or just generally curious as to how every team should approach the offseason, then this is the series for you. And with that being said, let's jump right into the video. As you can see from the war by position, the team has some of the clearest strengths and weaknesses in baseball. The pitching staff, especially the bullpen, needs an overhaul, with first base, DH, left, and center field all falling short of expectation. Perdomo, Marte, and Carroll continue to fuel the Diamondbacks to wins, but they need to get more before they can seriously consider the postseason. Before we can talk about the additions to the roster, the Diamondbacks need to review who will be potentially leaving the team this offseason. The Diamondbacks are faced with 5 unrestricted free agents as well as 1 player option before the 2026 free agent period. The lone player option is Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who's on the hook for $14 million if he chooses to return, and I can't imagine a world where he doesn't. Gurriel is coming off an ACL injury that'll keep him out until at least middle of the season, so it's probably in his best interest to stay in Arizona. For the Diamondbacks, I'm sure they would love to have the extra money, but if Gurriel can come back and hit like we know he's capable of, it would be a welcome addition to the second half roster. Another name the Diamondbacks are going to hold on to is Zach Gallen. Gallen has slowly slipped away from his ace status of 2021 and 2022. However, that doesn't mean he isn't valuable and can't find success again. Gallen gave up an unprecedented amount of home runs in 2025, especially compared to his career norms. Even just a correction to normality in that stat would do a lot for the right-handed pitcher. He still does really good with walks and strikeouts and keeps a good amount of contact onto the ground. This could be an opportunity for the Diamondbacks to grab an above average pitcher with ace potential at a significant discount. And the last name of the original 6 free agents the D-backs will hold on to is James McCann. There really isn't much to say here, except in the world of backup catchers, McCann is pretty solid, and the Diamondbacks should be happy to have him back. And for the final 3 names of Beeks, Vargas, and Richards, they'll all have to find new homes in 2026. Moving to the prospect system, the team will need to consider 2 names when constructing their roster for 2025. The first of which is their top prospect overall and the 66th ranked prospect in baseball, outfielder Ryan Waldschmidt. Waldschmidt has been mashing his way through the minor leagues, continuing to put up better numbers as he climbs up the leagues. He isn't much to watch defensively, which is strange considering he has plus speed. His weak arm limits him to left field, so it'll be fun to see if he can continue to mash, and if so, how quickly can he make it to the major leagues? And the other name to consider is Tommy Troy, the team's first round pick from 2023. Troy has had a turbulent ascent up the minor leagues, but after a strong 2025, it's time we see him in Arizona. The problem being is that he is a middle infield prospect, which is currently being logged up by Marte and Perdomo, which has caused the Diamondbacks to try to shift his hand into center field. I would love to see him get more time there to get more comfortable, especially because center is where I'll be starting him in 2026. Joining him on the roster will be Gabriel Marino behind the dish, Pavin Smith at first, platooning against right-handers, Ketel Marte and Geraldo Perdomo manning the middle infielder, with Blaze Alexander beating out Jordan Lawler to start the year at third base. Alec Thomas starting in left field versus righties, with Corbin Carroll in right, and Adrian Del Castillo at DH. Tim Tawa will also join the roster off the bench. At first base, you already know I had to bring back the former MVP himself, Paul Goldschmidt. I think we can all see that Goldschmidt's career is starting to wind down, and at this point, his best value is platooning versus left-handers. That's exactly the void the Diamondbacks will need to fill, and it's a match made in heaven, both stylistically and storyline-wise. The final spot for the position players will be the signing of Rob Refsnyder, formerly of the Boston Red Sox. Refsnyder has excelled in his role as a left-handed mashing purist for the Boston Red Sox, and it would be great for the Diamondbacks to snag his talents. He fits exactly what the Diamondbacks need and should do it at a cheap cost. For the rotation, they'll return Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Pfaadt, and Ryan Nelson, all 3 of which I would loop into this tier of inning eater that can range from below average to above average in any given season. That leaves 1 spot left in the rotation where the Diamondbacks can afford to get a little risky with the current pitchers on the team. And the final rotation spot will go to Brandon Woodruff, who didn't skip a beat after coming back from injury. Across his 12 starts and 64 innings, Woodruff had a 3.2 ERA, while striking out over 11 batters per 9 innings. My one concern is that it has been 3 seasons since Woodruff finished with the workload of a full-time starter, and I think that will knock his value to where he'll have to sign a short-time deal to prove he is a top starting pitcher who can handle the workload. That's where the Diamondbacks will swoop in and grab him. For the bullpen, they'll return 6 names with Andrew Saalfrank, John Curtis, Ryan Thompson, Kevin Ginkel, Taylor Rashi, and Juan Murillo. That leaves two spots left to fill, which will lead the Snakes back to free agency. The Diamondbacks will need to grab another left-hander, and I think they can find a good reliever in Joey Lucchesi. Lucchesi looked great in his first season as a reliever, posting a 3.76 ERA across 38 appearances. He did pretty well with the strikeouts to walk and would make a pretty reputable middle relief option. And for the final bullpen spot, everyone is hoping for the Diamondbacks to go for one of these big time closers, and that would help tremendously, but I think they will miss out. Instead, they'll go out and sign Jacob Junis, who has been very quietly good over the last two seasons. In 81 appearances, he has a 2.83 ERA, a great strikeout to walk rate, and is even good at keeping the ball in the yard. He might not be the sexy signing, but he is another stability piece to this bullpen. And that's going to do it for the rebuild. While the Diamondbacks could definitely use a complete overhaul of this pitching staff, I'm just not sure it's realistic, especially considering they have money tied up to guys that are just going to miss part of next year. You have guys like Corbin Burns, you have guys like AJ Puck. These are big name guys that are just out with injury. And this team will still be fun, and they should have a higher ceiling than the one they had at the end of the year last year.